Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 28 of chapter number 4 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. And the name of this chapter is Transcendental Knowledge, which means the knowledge which is beyond the material world. And this knowledge is surely going to reach us to our permanent destination, that is to Golok Vrindavan Dham. Krishna told us about various kinds of yajna which is performed by the people who desire to enjoy the fruits of their actions. Then by the brahmacharis, grihasthas and the nirakarvadis. Now, in today's verse, Krishna is going to give us a summary of all kinds of yajna so that we can decide which kind of yajna we should do for our own benefit. So first, let us recite the verse number 28 of chapter number 4. Dravya yajna tapo yajna yoga yajna tatha pare swadhyay gyan yajnascha yatayah sanchita vrataah. Dravya yajna tapo yajna yoga yajna tatha pare swadhyay gyan yajnascha yatayah sanchita vrataah. Dravya yajna, sacrificing one's own possessions. Tapo yajna, sacrifice in austerities. Yoga yajna, sacrifice in eightfold mysticism. Tatha, thus. Apare, others. Swadhyay, sacrifice in the study of the Vedas. Gyan, sacrifice in advancement of transcendental knowledge. Cha also. Yata yaha, enlightened. Samsita, taken to strict. Vratah, vows. Krishna says that there are others who are enlightened by sacrificing their material possessions in severe austerities. And there are some others who take strict vows and practice the yoga of eightfold mysticism. And there are still others who study the Vedas for the advancement of transcendental knowledge. Now let us read the purpose of Srila Prabhupada and understand the shlok in a nice manner. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavo ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that there are some people who are rich and have a political career. They sacrifice their material riches in the form of charity. They open various charitable institutions like orphanage, old age home, hospitals, schools for poor and helpless people. This sort of work is certainly very good and it is called Dravya Yajna, as they are sacrificing their money and other wealth for poor and needy people. This kind of work is very good to uplift the downtrodden and it is called Yajna or sacrifice because these people are sacrificing their money to help the poor and needy and are not enjoying all their money for only their own sense enjoyment. Now the next kind of yajna is tapo yajna, which means tapasya or severe austerities. The people, those who perform tapo yajna, follow a very strict and rigid rules and regulations during the Chaturmas. The people who perform this yajna do not shave for 4 months starting from Dev Sheni Ekadashi to Dev Utni Ekadashi, that is from the month of July to November. And during this period, people who take a vow to follow Chaturmas or Chandrayan, they eat only once and they do not eat certain food in specific months. For example, in the first month of Chaturmas, they do not eat leafy vegetables like spinach. In the second month, they do not take curd. In the third month, they do not take milk. And in the fourth month, they don't take any preparation which is made with urad dal like dahi bada, phare and kachori. And during this 4 month, they sleep on the floor and never leave home. They sacrifice all kinds of comforts for elevation to higher planets. Now we have come to know about Dravya Yagya and Tapo Yagya. And the people, those who do Dravya Yagya and Tapo Yagya, they do all kinds of austerities for elevation to the higher planets. Now the third kind of Yagya is Yoga Yagya, in which austerities are performed by Ashtang Yoga or Patanjali Yoga, in which there are 8 steps like Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharan, Dhyan and Samadhi. La Prabhupada explains, Yam means controlling the senses and Niyam is to follow the rules and regulations. Asan means sitting posture. Pranayam means controlling the breath. Pratyahar means eating food as directed in the Shastra. And then next comes Dhyan and Dharan, which means being absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Brahman. And the final stage is to arrive to the level of Samadhi, which means merging in the Brahma Jyoti. This type of yagya is done by the Nirakarvadis, who believe that Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya, which means only Brahma is truth and this material world is false. These people are called Nirakarvadis or impersonalists because they believe that everything which has a material body gets destroyed in due course of time. And the Supreme can never be destroyed. So the Supreme does not have any form or shape, and the Supreme is not a person, rather the Supreme is formless power which they call as Brahma Jyoti, and their target is to merge in the illuminary existence of the Supreme. Since they believe that the Supreme is not person who has a form or a shape, so they are called impersonalists or Nirakarvadi. Now we are going to know about the last kind of yagya, that is Swadhyay Gyan Yagya. This yagya is performed by those people who have deep inclination to acquire the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra and Upanishads. These people sacrifice all their time and energy only to acquire the knowledge of Ved and Upanishads. Now we have understood about Dravya Yagya, Tapo Yagya, Yoga Yagya and Adhyatma Yagya. Srila Prabhupada says that all these yagyas are definitely pious, but Krishna consciousness is higher than all these yagyas. Srila Prabhupada says that Dravya Yagya, Tapo Yagya, Yoga Yagya and Adhyatma Gyan Yagya can elevate a person in this material world and guarantees a person to be born in a high class, rich family with a beautiful body and intelligence. Srila Prabhupada says that by being born in a rich and affluent family, a person becomes proudy and arrogant of his riches and wealth. And as a result of it, he has a downfall in the lower species in the next birth. Our scriptures give us many examples of great rishis and brahmanas who had a fall from their exalted place. Rishi Vishwamitra had controlled all his senses after performing thousands of years of austerities. But the moment he heard the anklet sound of Menaka, the damsel of heaven, his meditation was broken. Then we know about Nal Kuber and Manigriv, who were the sons of the richest demigod Kuber. They had a downfall from heaven and were cursed to become trees by Narad Muni. Then we know about Lankapati Ravan, who had done severe austerities to please Shivji, and then Shivji gave him Lanka and nectar in his navel. Ravan was a very learned Brahmin who wrote a scripture named Ark Prakash, in which it is mentioned about all the ark of various jadi booties, which is obtained from plants and trees, and it has the cure for each and every illness. So, in a nutshell, we can say that all these great personalities had a fall down or they were destroyed because they were not Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is higher than all kinds of sacrifices that we have studied. Srila Prabhupada says that all these yogis, such as Dravya yogis, Tapo yogis, Ashtang yogis, and Swadhyaya yogis, are faithfully engaged in different types of sacrifices and are seeking a higher status of life. But Krishna consciousness is different from these because it is direct service of the Supreme Lord. Other yogis do all the sacrifices because they want success and enjoyment in this life or in next life. But a Krishna conscious person does all the sacrifice of his enjoyment for the pleasure of Krishna. And he has the complete knowledge that he is the eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And when Krishna will become happy, he will also automatically become happy. So he never does any effort to become individually happy. Rather, his all efforts are to make Krishna happy. Prabhupada says that a Krishna conscious cannot be attained by any of the yagyas that we have come to know till now. Krishna consciousness can be attained only and only by the mercy of Lord and his bona fide devotee. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental. Srila Prabhupada says that Harinam Sankirtan is given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself, who appeared in the form of his own devotee and has given us Harinam Sankirtan, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when chanted softly, it is jap, and when the same mantra is sung in a very high volume with many devotees along with dancing, then it becomes Harinam Sankirtan Yagya. This is the only way which is prescribed for Kali Yuga. Tulsidas ji says, Kali Yuga keval naam adhara, sumir sumir nar utarahi para. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Harirnam, Harirnam, Harirnam eva kevalam, kalau nastiva, nastiva, nastiva gatir anyatha. It means that in Kali Yuga, which is the age of quarrel, there is no other method for God realization. And to do the Harinam, there is no fixed time or place. It can be done everywhere, even in the streets, and anyone can do the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And just by chanting the Mahamantra, one gets purified and becomes eligible to be freed from the endless cycle of birth and death. Power of liberation is not in any other yagya, whether it is Dravya yagya, Tapo yagya, Ashtang yagya, or Swadhyaya yagya. Prabhupada says that when he went to America, only Harinam Sankirtan there. And with the pure Harinam Sankirtan, thousands and thousands of American young boys and girls who were then hippies They became Krishna devotees and started leading a clean life and doing everything only for the pleasure of Krishna. This is the power of Harinam Sankirtan Yajna, which transforms everyone from leading a life of ignorance to a life of Krishna consciousness. I bow down in front of my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, and I bow down to Srila Prabhupada for making us understand the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. I bow down in front of you for listening to Bhagavad Gita shlokas so attentively. Now we shall meet the next Sunday with a new shlok. Until then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Please do forward these videos to others, as this is the highest way of becoming Krishna conscious. And the sole aim of Bhagavad Gita is to make us become Krishna conscious and come out of the endless cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna.